Alright, Cartman here. You know, before I show you how to reload, I'm gonna talk about basic terminology. The reload video is gonna be pretty long. I just thought about it. Because I'm gonna show you how to kind of set up the equipment, show you each step along the way, and the finished product. And I think it's gonna be a pretty long video. Might have to go 4 or 5 parts. So, and then I'm also working with military brass too. So military machine gun brass, like 7.62 NATO brass, very difficult to work with because it's so thick, and they're normally shot from machine guns, and machine guns have loose headspace, so it gets the brass out of whack. So you have to have a technique on how to reload military brass. But once you do it one time, then it's good to go, and that case will last 10 or more than 10 times. So let's talk about. So this right here is a 50 cal round, 50 caliber. It's 50 caliber because it's actually 0.50. 0.50 inch is what it means, right? So that's the caliper, 0.50. Oh, you can't see it. 0.50 inch. But the bullet is going to be bigger than 0.50. It's actually the barrel that's 0.5. The bullet is fatter than the barrel, so it squeezes through the barrel and rifles through, builds up pressure, and that's where you get the velocity. This right here is the standard M80 American 308 cartridge. 308 Winchester is what we call it in America. 7.62 NATO is what the rest of the world calls it. And you can see the difference between the 50 cal and the 308. Now this, I also reload 7mm RSOM, which stands for Remington Ultra Short Magnum. RSOM, Remington Short, RSOM, Remington Short Action Ultra Magnum. It's a 180 grain bullet. Here, let me show you the difference between the 308. So there's a 308 right here, 308, 7mm RSOM. So the RSOM is a, see how fat the case is? And the bullet is much longer, right? So you can have long bullets for 308 too. I'll explain that later. But this is the regular M80 bullet. It's a full metal jacket, 147 grains or 148 grains or 150 grains. They're made by Winchester. Most of the time it's made by Winchester. This gun right here is further than my 50 cal. This is a 1.5 mile gun. So you can hit like a 25 inch, no, let me say a 4-foot plate, which is pretty big, right? 4-foot plate, 4 foot by 4 foot. But again, it's 1.5 miles, so you're shooting a long ways away. It has a great ballistic coefficient, and it flies really well. Bucks win very well. See how it's short and fat? Because short and fat cases burn powder more consistent, so it's supposed to be more accurate. The reason military rounds are long and skinny is so they can belt them. They put them on belts so you can feed them to machine guns. So 50 cal is also shot from a machine gun, but this is not a machine gun round. This is the 7.60 grain AMAX bullet, okay? When I talk about the bullet, I'm just talking about the part that goes out of the case. This right here is called the case, the brass part. That's the case, bullet. That thing is called the primer. When the firing pin hits that, that's what goes boom. The powder expands because of the powder ignites. The case expands, seals the chamber, and that's where you get your pressure. And then, since the bullet is bigger than the barrel, the bullet has to squeeze through the barrel, and that's how you get velocity. So this, out of a 20-inch barrel, standard NATO, is 2,700 foot per second. This AMAX round is 2,500 foot per second. But look how big the bullet is. This bullet's 150 grain. This is 760 grains. The bullet, just the bullet. 760 grains. Okay, that's a lot. Because to give you an idea, a quarter is 88 grains. Okay, so I'm already at 5 minutes. I haven't even really talked about everything yet. You know, so one of the specialty rounds people shoot a lot, and I love this round. This is called a blackout, 300 blackout, or 300 BLK. It's 30 caliber, but it's really a 308, but they call it a 300. It uses the exact same bullet as this. Both are the exact same bullet. It just, this one is a modified 5.56 case. This is a standard military 7.62 NATO case. 5.56 NATO case, just modified. And I'll show you here's my own reload of 5.56 NATO. But this is M193 bullets, not M855. M855 has steel core. This one's full metal jacket. See, they're kind of the exact same case. It's just, this one is chopped down and resized so it can fit a 308 bullet. This right here, as you can see, it is a 223 bullet. Again, it means 0.223 inches is what it means. And that's the barrel, okay? Give you an idea, here is a 45 handgun cartridge. 230 grain bullet. 45s are awesome reload. The brass lasts forever. Because this is a low velocity round. It doesn't even hit supersonic speed. It only goes about 700 foot per second. Speed of sound is like 1,100 foot per second. So it stays below subsonic with silencers. It's really good. And since it's low velocity, the cases last forever. And the kick is not as much. 9mm is definitely more accurate, but it's 9mm is a fast round. And it just goes through stuff, whereas this kind of stops in its track and expands inside the zombie. So that's 45, and that's why I prefer 45, because it's just so easy to reload. Now the 45 bullet is pretty expensive, but the cases last forever. This takes 5 grains of powder, okay? 308, about 45 grains of powder. Man, this thing, I don't even know. I think about 300 grains of powder, all right? The 50 cal. And the 7mm RSOM is, this one takes about 65 grains of powder. Now 308, they have many bullets. Many bullets. This is a Hornady soft tip. You can see it's a soft tip, expands really good. This is what you want to use for soft targets like people or when you're hunting, because this will expand. And it will, you know, if you got to feed the family, you want to stop the deer in its track so you can find the deer or the hog or whatever, right? These are fairly inexpensive. And I got, like, with this press right here, Hornady gave me like 1,100 rounds free. And this is a great round to have. 208 grain AMAX, another 308 bullet. Look how long and skinny that is. Precision shooters prefer the 155mm Sinar bullet by Lapua. Again, all these are 308 caliber. So it works for 7.62 NATO cartridges. My favorite for precision match is the 705 grain Sierra Max King. So that's my accurate ammo. But when you're doing bulk ammo, like on the progressor press, I normally do the 150 grain soft point or 150 grain full metal jacket, the standard military round. Okay, so now you know the basic terminology. These are all the 308 powders. 748 Winchester. Inexpensive, but, well, fairly inexpensive. It works great. You know, back in the days, these used to be like $100 for 8 pounds. Now it's like $400. Crazy prices. You got to buy pooled powder now if you want to spend $200. Pooled powder mean they pool it from old ammo and put them in cases. Here's Varget, everyone's favorite precision. Works for 155 grain Sanars, 175 Sierra Match King bullets. Again, 308 powder. Winchester 748 you could use for 5.56 NATO also. Ramshot tack, great powder, fairly inexpensive. This, I got it on Black Friday, like 5 of these for like $85 each. And now you're looking at $400 each for these for 8 pounds. So powder is expensive these days. But, 8 pounds is a lot of powder. I think 56,000 grains is 8 pounds, something like that, right? So you can make like a lot of ammo, right? 1,000 rounds with this. Wait, 56,000? Wait, it's 1 pound? No, I think 1 pound is 56,000. So 45 takes 5 grains. Rifle takes 45 grain. Big difference. 223, it doesn't take that much grain. It only takes like half the amount, like 24 grains. 8235, another great powder for 308. Most people use it for 223 though, which is 5.56 NATO. But this is for 150 grain M80 bullets. This works pretty good. Very reliable. This is another favorite, a precision shooter, 48.995. So all those match bullets I showed you, like the 155 grain CNRs, the 208 grain AMAX, 175 grain Sierra Match Kings. People like this or Varget. And last but not least, 1680. Great powder for 300 blackout. So 300 blackout, I have 2 types of rounds. I load 2 different type of rounds. So this one right here uses the standard M80 308 bullet, right? This is 1900 foot per second with AA 1680. This is subsonic, which means it never hits the speed of sound. 208 grain AMAX bullet, 308, and it only reaches like 1,000. I load it, make sure that it only goes to 1,000 foot per second. And the reason you want it subsonic is because a bullet tends to go crazy. If it's subsonic and they go subsonic, it goes crazy, right? So if it stays subsonic, it's okay. If it stays supersonic, it's okay. So a 308 in the desert is about 1,200 yards. Like it stays supersonic out to 1,200 yards. And after 1,200 yards, I'm talking the summer, okay? But when it's foggy and the air is thick, then you're looking at 1,000 yards or a little bit less than 1,000 yards and that's what the 175 grain Sierra Match King or the match ammo. But the 168 grain Match Kings or the standard 308 military, that one is only good to about 800 and accurate to 600. So there's a big difference. So this goes 1,900 foot per second. This 300 blackout, 300 blackout, 300 blackout, 1,900 foot per second. That's what I loaded to. This one is 1,000 foot per second, roughly, right? And the way you measure it, you have a chrono. So after your load, you put the chrono 10 yards away and you shoot through the chrono and it measures how fast the bullet goes at 10 yards. You really want it at the muzzle, but the muzzle blast will blow the chrono away, so you put it 10 yards away, and that's pretty close enough. So those are all the ammos I reload. Let me see if I reload. I have a 9mm die, so I can reload 9mm if I want to. Yeah, so I have that. What else do I have? I have... I don't reload 50 cal because it's not worth it. You can buy 50 cal rounds pretty cheap. Like 20 years ago, 50 cal round was like $4 each, and it's still $4 each. Whereas a 308 round, like a 308 match round, like a federal gold medal match round, man, you're looking at like $2 a round, right? Or more. But if I reload it, it becomes only like, well, back then it was only like 55 cents. So I still have all my components from 15 years ago because I didn't shoot that much in the last 15 years. So I had this room set up when I first moved to Vegas 18 years ago, almost 18 years ago. So yeah, so that is the 308. Let me see what else. 50 cal 308. Yeah, 50 cal. I don't reload. You need a special press for 50 cal too, because these press are too short. You need a bigger one. You know, you could just use a single stage, and I thought about reloading 50. I might one day. I just have to buy a new press and dies. But again, you know, it's pretty expensive. Like it's gonna cost you more to reload because the powder, it uses so much powder, and the primers are expensive, right? I still have my 50 cal cases, you know, in case if someone wants to trade. But I just buy 50 cal. Now Ches has the PMJ on sale for like shipped like $40 for 10, right? $4 a round sounds a lot, but that's how much it was 20 years ago. Whereas 308 20 years ago, you could get it for $1 a round, and now it's all $2 a round, right? So it's crazy. The price of ammo is crazy. Think about it. You get a lap dance, at least you're getting like 3 minutes, you know? But if you're shooting 20 rounds at 308, pow, 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 man, it's gone. And you know how much that was right there? $40, okay? So it's pretty expensive to shoot these days. So people don't shoot as much. They shoot 22 LR. You know, I have a lot of 22 LR guns, and I should have shown you what that round looks like. But that is basically a 22 bullet, very small case, and it's still pretty fast. You know, it's supersonic, so it hits like 1,200 foot per second or 1,100 foot per second, something like that. And you know, I shoot three. You know, I also shoot the 450 Bushmaster, which is a 45 bullet in a long case, and it's like an AR type gun with a different barrel, right? So that's my hog gun. This right here, the Nosler ballistic tip hunting. This is my favorite hunting round. It's super accurate, and they, you know, and I killed. I mean, like one shot, the hog just went down, like pow, like this stuff just expanded, and he just flopped over. I think I showed some food pictures from that one hog. Let me see what else. AMAX. So the 150 grain saw point from Hornady, that's a good bullet. It's cheaper than the ballistic tip from Nosler. They call it the CNR Spitzer 180 grain Spitzer bullet. So that's a really good. That's my favorite hunting. And again, I shoot 308 because most of my guns are 308, and this is a common round. Of course, you know, if I were to compete, I would build up. You know, I could use my 7mm RSOM, but that's a long action. But the bullet is even longer than a long action, so it has to use like a Lapua action magazine, right? So, I mean, like the overall length of the case is really long. So that one, it's a long action, whereas a Creedmoor is a short action. 260 Remington is a short action. You know, it's like a 7mm RSOM, just a little bit smaller. You know, a short and fat case, long skinny bullet, right? With a good bow tail, and it flies really good, right? So it bucks the wind really, really well. But you know, the 308 CNR bullets are really good too. They're not as good, but you know, it all comes down to who can read the wind the best. So at the end of the day, I don't think the rifle really matters. I mean, it does matter. You want to take away every last variable out. Man, I'm already at 20 minutes, okay? I'm already at 20 minutes, and that's just talking about 308 bullets and 308 powder, right? So you can imagine, like, going through the whole reloading, that's going to have to be like 8 different videos, 10 minutes each. All right, Cartmann out. Once again, this is the Cartmann kitchen. Talking about 7.62 NATO 308 bullets and the cases they use. And 7mm is not 308. It's actually .277 caliber. .308 is 7.62. Okay, but close enough. Let me see what else. Yep, that's it. All right, Cartmann out. I'll try to make the reloading video tomorrow. I'm already at 20 minutes. I made a good set of rounds. I set up everything for 308. I set all my equipment to make a lot of 308. The last time I reloaded 308 was 12 years ago. Let me see, 2011, 2010. So that was 2010. That's 14 years ago. So it took me 14 years to shoot all the 308 that I reloaded, right? So I'm gonna make enough to last me the next 14 years. If I'm still alive, because I'm pretty old now, right? 14 years ago, I was pretty young. All right, Cartmann out.